Business cooperation yields synergy, but not all partnerships are beneficial. Working with sponsors is not that unusual to a lot of services providers. But is it a good idea in the case of Yi City? Let's find out.
Hao Hongzhe is a bank manager. She has come to her own bank's miniature branch in Yi City today. Watching the children mimic bank employees is an enjoyable experience for her.
While they are here, the children get in touch with some of the work we do at the bank. This builds the children's awareness of financial matters.
With increasingly affluent middle-class Chinese families willing and able to invest more in children, education is taking up a growing share of household spending. A 2011 survey by the China Youth and Children Research Center shows an eye-popping 7-fold increase from the level seen in the mid-1990s. As children become a major consumption force in China, many companies are catching on to the trend and are investing in the burgeoning market. Optimism for the growing industry has also helped Yi City attract a large number of sponsors.
所以现在入驻我们这个蓝天城的很多都是国际品牌。
Many international brands have partnered with Yi City and set up their own miniature offices for the children. The companies include Mercedes-Benz, Coca-Cola, United Family Healthcare. As a business, it's important to do branding. If you can embed your brand into the children's heads from an early age, they will have a deep impression of it when they grow up.
肯定对你这个品牌的印象是很深刻的。
I think it's a win-win solution. We provide real medical equipment. Our beds and wards are the same as those used at our hospital. Meanwhile, this does have a promotional effect.
While the sponsors assist in creating a more realistic experience for the children, they also help the center make money. Sponsors now account for 20% of Yi City's business. Yi City has had an online presence since 2011, and Li says that, too, has been good for business.
那互联网对我们还是有帮助。第一个是它是很多人的这个知道
The
我们。
internet has helped us a
因为
lot.
我们是这个。
First, it helps people find us, because unlike other stores that invest a lot of money in marketing, we barely advertise at all and mainly rely on online marketing. Then there's online ticket sales. Right now, online sales account for 40% of our total ticket sales.
可以达到门票总收入的40%左右。
Yi City also has initiated cooperation with a number of Beijing schools. It's now an officially recognized science center that features school-organized events on a regular basis.
他们成班、成年级、成建制的过来，星期二到星
They
期五
come in groups of entire classes, grades, or even entire schools, and it's great. From Tuesday to Friday, the schools and groups that come here fill up what would otherwise be slow hours. As China's education system is being reformed, I think businesses like us will get ever more popular. I think the industry has a very good outlook.
Let's talk about Yi City's marketing strategy. I know the company works with a lot of sponsors. What are the pros and cons of working with sponsors?
Well, I think there are at least two major benefits of working with sponsors. The first one is it ensures more realistic experience because these are real companies out in the real world. So by working with them, Yi City is able to provide children a working experience that's closely mimics, what's real out there, right? And the second benefit is actually cost saving because usually usually when you work with corporate sponsors, they will actually make the investment into equipment and workstation facilities. So as for eCity, it doesn't have to make all these fixed asset investment by itself, which is a big cost saving factor. But the downside of working with a lot of corporate sponsor is the concern of overly pervasive advertisement. Is it really such a hot idea to expose children to a number of different brands early on in their lives? I think the answer is probably no. So I think eCity needs to be very careful in terms of who they choose to be their partners and who they work with.
It's a very delicate balance. I understand why these companies want to be sponsors, because they want to get in touch with the children when they're young to build customer loyalty.
Exactly.
Other than sponsors, eCity also works with several educational institutions. What are the pros and cons of working with an educational institution?
Right. Well, I think there are several benefits. The first one is it brings in a stable stream of customers and cash flows, especially if eCity is able to enter into a long-term partnership with these educational institutions. And a related benefit would be brand image. So these reputable educational institutions can serve as a positive certification on the quality of eCity, right, and help improve and elevate its brand image and its credibility. And the third benefit would be to help fill vacancies on weekdays. If these educational institutions are able to incorporate eCity and the experiential learning into their educational curriculum, then they will be able to send the students over on weekdays and try to help fill in that void on the weekday. But the downside of working with educational institution is discount, right? So when you work with a long-term partner and then they send large groups into eCity every week, then we're talking about a significant price discount. So you're essentially trading off price for volume.
Certainly.
Right?
And you also got to be careful with when it comes to which educational institution to select without maybe making the school look too commercial.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So you need a positive synergy between the two entities.
Certainly. Well, Professor Jia, eCity's facility is huge. It's a gigantic operation. But how can a company expand further in the future?
Well, I think there are two dimensions to think about. The first one is geographic expansion. So instead of having a location in Beijing, they can also move into second, third tier cities in China. But of course, as you mentioned, these are capital-intensive operations, which would require significant upfront investment. Another dimension of expansion to think about is to better capture the entire value chain by offering other children-related products or service. Let me tell you, there's another company, similar company, who is contemplating a one-stop shopping mall for children. So the idea is a little bit like Mall of America, where you have a Snoopy camp, right in the middle, and you have all these different shops around it. So I think eCity and actually its competitors thinking about the same thing, having a one-stop children's shopping mall. While the children can play in these experiential learning centers, the parents can go around and shop for their children.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Folks, despite some visible headwinds, opportunities still abound for the still fledgling industry here in China. With an increasingly affluent Chinese middle class spending more and more money on their children's education and entertainment, the demand for such play centers will remain very robust. And also make sure to follow us on Weibo, WeChat, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter to share your thoughts. And if you do have an interesting business case to tell, you can always send us an email at newmoney@cctv.com. Thank you very much for joining us this week on New Money, and thank you so much for your participation, Professor Jia.
Thank you.
It was great to have your insights and ideas. And also, folks, we'll see you at the same time next week.